Hello, this is Dr. Hassan Abdullah with the course Web Applications Programming. And the topic which we are covering is Structured Query Language or SQL. And the topic number in our list of topics is 7. So, this is topic number 7A. And in this topic, we will be looking at just the very basics of SQL. Like other videos in this course, this video also based upon and uses the personalized learning management system easymcq.com/goget. So this is the personalized learning management system, and it has some wonderful features which facilitate and which help you get the most out of it. So it provides full text search, basic and advanced, and you can search for the topics or the material of your interest. And if there is any visual disability, the user can set the font size, the color, the line spacing, the type of font to facilitate to maximize. And the content is displayed and is presented in a nested hierarchical fashion in a manner, and that helps facilitate. For example, you have the bullets, then you have the summary, then you have the explanation of the bullets, and then you have the references and diagrams if needed. And of course, there are online exams also to practice to know what you have learned, and the system also identifies the weaknesses, and the system tracks your progress so you know what you have covered, what you have not covered. And of course, it is uh, beneficial, and it has been optimized to work on small devices also like smartphones, their alignment and everything. So this is all explained in these 6 videos, and these videos are available at this URL, or you can go to YouTube and type my name, Dr. Hassan Abdullah, and it will take you to my official YouTube channel where these videos are available. And the approach of this course is maximizing upon the question and answer based approach, which is very proactive and which is very engaging. Okay, and it promotes thinking, and of course, it also capitalizes on the traditional approach where data and facts are presented. So it's the best of the both worlds, which I've explained in the previous slide. So these are the topics which are covered in this course, and we are at topic number 7, which is SQL programming. Okay, and this topic is explained in the form of questions and answers. So this is the list of topics, and we can see that we are at topic number 7. Now this topic number 7 has 20 concepts in the form of questions and answers. So as the color coding shows, the first 5 is in 7A, the next 5 are in 7B, then the next 5 are in 7C, and the last are in 7D. And now we move on to the supplemental website, and there we will look at each of these concepts in the form of questions and answers. So now we are at the supplemental website, and the course is Web Applications Programming. And in this course, we are covering the topic which is SQL Programming. So I go to SQL Programming, and we have these 5 questions and answers, which are the 5 concepts. Okay, and these questions and answers, 5 concepts, will be part of lecture 7A. Okay, that's 7A. So let's go ahead. So what are the differences between SQL and MySQL? So we will look at the definition point of view also, because SQL is a structured query language, and this is used by different relational models, and MySQL is one of those relational models. And so there's a big difference, and the type is that SQL is a programming language to retrieve data from a database, not any database but the relational database. And MySQL is one of those relational database. Of course, there are other relational databases also, like this Oracle, and then there is Microsoft Access, and there are the whole list of them. And the functionality, well, MySQL is a full-fledged database management system, and it has lot of functionality. And SQL is a programming language, And the usage of the SQL is limited to retrieving data, creating tables, running queries, and MySQL supports all of them and more. So this is a platform, it's a database. This is just a programming language, and this is there are several vendors, and there's one main vendor of MySQL, and usually SQL is like it's you can do it use it for a non-commercial basis without any issues of licensing and performance and optimization. So what I have just mentioned in those bullets, that is explained here. So SQL stands for Structured Query Language, okay? And it's an open source. MySQL is an open source relational database management system that on which that implements SQL, okay? And MySQL is an RDBMS, and in terms of functionality, it provides a lot of functionality: data storage, security, backup, and other critical database management system. While SQL just interaction with databases retrieves the data. So I think this should be clear from the bullets which I have discussed. And the vendor for SQL is a standard language defined by ANSI, American National Standard Institutes. And this was my how was originally developed by MySQL AB and now owned by Oracle Corporation. And MySQL is available under open source licensing or purchase a commercial license, right? So that I've already explained to you. So if you're interested, here are more references. So what are MySQL basic data types? So data types are the types of data which can be stored in a MySQL database. So it can store numeric data. Numeric data can be integers. The numeric data can be floating point, and it can also store data which is in the form of date and which is in the form of time also. And you can perform certain operations with reference to date and time. And then there is the string data also, which can be a fixed length or it can be a variable character length. It can be combination of alphabets and combination of numbers also. Then there is the binary data types, and then there's the JSON data type, which I'll explain to you, and the spatial data for geographic information system GIS databases. So the type, so we can have integer, floating point, and decimal data. And for example, when you require data which is very explicit, require exact precision, such as financial data, and date data, date time data, timestamp. If you recall, uh, in the example, some of the examples in this course, so we started with the date data and the time data, and we need to be explicit about it, that what goes into date and what goes into time. And this is very useful also. String data can be character, variable character, it can be text, it can be blob, binary, large, object, okay, and the list goes on. So there are different types of data. Binary data is there, variable binary data. JSON is the JavaScript object notation. So what it offers is that correctness and offers several functions to manipulate. We won't be using a lot of JSON in this course, and spatial data types are there for points and lines and polygons, which is in geographic information systems. And as I said, we won't be using a lot of geographic GIS location based data in this course. However, if you are interested in learning more about them, so here are the references. Now let's move on and delve and go into which is more relevant to this course: how tables are created and how tables are deleted using SQL. Okay, so we can create a table using a certain command, right, using SQL, and then there is a certain way of writing that command, which is the syntax for creating tables. And when we create the tables, then the data types in table creation, what are the data types which we can use to create the table? We can have a varchar, we can have text, we can have integer, and so on. And how do we delete the table using SQL? So you give a command, drop table, and you basically delete the table. But syntax for deleting table, it has to follow certain syntax. It's not just you write in natural language, which is not working here because it is structured query language. Considerations before deleting a table, because these tables can have integrity constraints and foreign key relationships which may or may not allow deleting certain tables when certain tables are not empty. So that is to be taken into consideration. And something which is very very important is the impact of deleting tables that can render your application functionless. Okay, if the tables are not deleted properly. And the other thing is that once a table is deleted, you cannot basically get that table back. Okay, so you have to be very careful about the impact of deleting the tables. So how do you go about doing creating tables? You use the create table statement. Okay, and the columns which you can use in creating the tables can be integer, it can be variable character, it can be date. And how you remove the table? You drop the table. The command is drop table, create table, drop table. And basically that's about it. So this is how it looks like. So you create table, right? Create table, and in the brackets you type the column name and the data type. That's about it. It will just create the table for you. Okay, and the table will be created and data types have been defined here. That can be integer, that can be variable character, that can be date also. It could be boolean also. It's up to you. And you, how do you delete the table? You drop the table. Okay, this is the command drop table, and the table name and the table will be gone. Now consideration is that if there are foreign key constraints, deleting might cause integrity issues in the database. So you need to alter the constraints, or maybe you need to back up, or maybe you are unable to drop the table, okay, because of the constraints. And the impact is it has consequences. Why? What are the consequences? The consequences, data is permanently removed. It's gone. You must have backups. You must have backups. And this can, if you are indiscriminately deleting the tables, that can lead to integrity violations, breaking relationships between the data. So that has to be done very carefully. Okay, very carefully. So the game the so you have to be very careful. So let me clean this first. Sorry about that. Okay, so creating a table using SQL to store the registration data and explain the working of code is fairly simple. Create database. So you must have a database before. So you have a member database, and in that database you want to create a table. But before you create the table, you must be using that member database. And once you are using that member database, then you can create the table with the name members or whatever you want it to be. So you need to create a database first. Okay, so this line creates a new database named membership underscore db. Okay, and of course we are assuming that it does not exist earlier. Okay, and then you say that use this database membership underscore db, use this database. And then when you create the table, that table is going to be created within that membership underscore database. So of course you can have create a table as we have discussed before. You can have auto increment, you can have primary key, and that's part of the create table command. Okay, and we have this first name and last name, they are not null, and you see that the character width is different for different, and you have gender and so on. So there's nothing very exciting about it. So this is the summary of the table, and here you can just copy this code, all this code, right? And you can run this code. So create the database, use membership, and then create the table, and then you can populate it and so on. So what are the SQL data manipulation commands? And explain with examples. So data manipulation, basically we change the data. So insert changes the data. You insert something in the table, Update, you modify a certain thing. Delete, you remove something. Select does not manipulate the data, but select is probably one of the most significantly used commands in SQL, because with select you look at the contents of the table, you retrieve data from the database. So DMLs is used to signify data manipulation language. Okay, DML does not include select. Okay, so this is just for the sake of understanding here. So we have the insert command to add new records into a table, right? And then of course you have the select command with the where is a condition, right? Where salary greater than say 500, that's a condition. Order by, say for example with a certain column, right? Order by salary, order by age. And group by, you do a grouping based upon the salary. This is the group of this salary, this is the group of this people. Update used to change the existing records. Delete, you remove them. So these DML commands are called as CRUD: create, read, update, and delete. So insert into users, username, email. So insert into the table users. What do you want to insert? Username and email. And what are their values? These are their values. This gets inserted. Select username, email from users. So select username, email from users is the name of the table where status is active, where CV was 1, CV was 0, and 1. Update user, set email is equal to this value where user ID was 1. Delete, you delete. That's it. So it's fairly simple. So with this we end section or the lecture number 7A. Thank you.